First published in 1937, Detective Comics is now one of the top comic franchises in the whole world. From Aquaman and Flash to Lex Luthor and Clark Kent, the DC Universe has been entertaining us through different mediums. There have been many exciting announcements regarding the universe, as many new movies and TV shows are scheduled to be added. Let's find out everything we can about the new movies and shows. But before we begin, make sure you have subscribed to Marvelous Videos and turn on the notifications so you never miss any video from us. Let's begin. But before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Superman. A new actor is ready to don the cape of Superman on July 11th this year. There have been many Men of Steel in the past, the most recent being Henry Cavill. Under Zack Snyder's direction, Cavill portrayed a dark, gritty, and brooding Superman. But with James Gunn now at the helm, we're about to witness a major shift in tone. David Cornsweet will become the new Man of Steel, falling in love with Rachel Brosnahan's Lois Lane. Nicholas Hoult, known for films like Nosferatu and The Menu, is set to play the villainous Lex Luthor. The film will also introduce several new characters, many of whom have already been teased in the trailers. To name a few, Nathan Fillion will play Green Lantern, Eddie Gathegi takes on the role of Mr. Terrific, Isabella Merced will appear as Hawkgirl, and Anthony Carrigan will portray the archaeologist-turned-superhero Metamorpho. Set to launch the DCU's larger narrative arc, Chapter 1, Gods and Monsters, the movie explores how Superman reconciles his Kryptonian heritage with his Smallville upbringing as Clark Kent. Gunn has revealed that the story will also focus on Lex Luthor's obsessive attempts to kill Superman. Luthor, who craves recognition for his wealth and power, grows increasingly jealous of the effortless admiration Superman receives. Gunn has even compared Luthor's resentment to how some artists feel about artificial intelligence. But it's not all action. The love story between Superman and Lois Lane also takes center stage. At its heart, the film emphasizes themes of kindness and humanity, values that feel almost old-fashioned in an increasingly cynical world. And if these beautiful themes aren't enough to draw us to the theater this July, there's always Krypto, Superman's loyal doggo waiting to steal the show. The Sandman Season 2. Alan Heinberg, the showrunner, executive producer, and writer of The Sandman, is ready to bring the show back for one last season. With Tom Sturridge appearing as Morpheus in his final adventure, the second season will be released in 2 volumes. Volume 1, which has 6 episodes, will be released on July 3rd, while the second volume will drop on July 24th with 5 episodes. The previous season of The Sandman ended with Dream destroying the Dream Vortex to save our universe and his kingdom, and uncreating the Corinthian, a dangerous nightmare. Dream had also helped his wife Calliope, with whom he had fallen out after disagreeing about the fate of their son Orpheus. In hell, Mazikeen and Lucifer were ready to get back at Dream for the public humiliation they suffered. Season 2 will be set just a few weeks after all these events and will focus on Dream trying to rebuild his kingdom and move on from his past. But the past is not something that gives up that easily. According to Heinberg, the second season of The Sandman will be rooted in the comics in terms of plot and visual imagery more than the first, but still promises to surprise fans of the books. The youngest member of the Endless, Delirium, is set to make her Sandman debut through actress Esme Creed Miles. Along with the returning cast, Heinberg told eager fans that they will get to see new faces like Freddie Fox as Loki, Rory O'Connor as Orpheus, Lawrence O'Furian as Thor, and Jack Gleason as Puck. So tune in to Netflix to find out all the new additions to the Endless family and the end of Dream's story. Peacemaker Season 2. The spin-off of The Suicide Squad, Peacemaker stars John Cena as the titular mercenary. A part of the new DCU spearheaded by James Gunn, Season 2 of Peacemaker is set to premiere on August 21st on Max. Though Gunn wrote the entire season, he will only direct 3 of the 8 episodes, with Greg Mottola, Alethea Jones, and Peter Sollett managing the rest. The plot is going to focus more on the human behind the hero, Chris Smith, rather than just Peacemaker. The show will also pave the way for Waller, a spin-off series centered on Amanda Waller, played by Viola Davis. While you can expect to see familiar faces like Freddie Stroma as Adrian Chase, Jennifer Holland as Amelia Harcourt, and Danielle Brooks as Leota Adebayo, there will also be many new characters, including Rick Flag Sr., played by Frank Grillo, Sacha Bordeaux, played by Sol Rodriguez, and Argus agent Langston Fleury, played by Tim Meadows. Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. Directed by Craig Gillespie, Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow will release on June 26, 2026. The movie's going to be an adaptation of the 8-issue comic book series Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow by writer Tom King and artist Bilquis Evely, which began in June 2021. The comic miniseries was also nominated for the 2022 Eisner Award for Best Limited Series. The story is told from the perspective of Ruthie Murray Knoll, an alien girl who, while on her way to exact revenge against Krem of the Yellow Hills for killing her father, meets Kara Zor-El, who is flying across the galaxy with Krypto to celebrate her 21st birthday. King had originally planned for a team-up of Kara with Lobo, the interstellar mercenary from the planet Zarnia, but the idea didn't pan out in the comic books. Looks like King is going to get his wish fulfilled after all, as Lobo is set to appear in the movie, with Jason Momoa playing the bounty hunter. Kara Zor-El, or Supergirl, will be played by Millie Alcock, the Australian actress who gained popularity for playing Rhaenyra Targaryen in House of the Dragon. The movie will also be part of the brand new Gods and Monsters chapter of the DCU. Clayface. James Gunn and Peter Safran's DCU is definitely going to be an interesting blend of genres, as one of the movies set to join the first chapter is Clayface, a horror film that explores the eponymous supervillain. Gunn had previously gushed about the script, calling it an excellent piece of body horror, pure horror, with all the elements required to make the perfect horror flick. Gunn also expressed that a Clayface movie is the need of the hour, as he's a quintessential Batman villain who's going to play a bigger role in the DCU. The movie will be directed by James Watkins, the director of the psychological thriller Speak No Evil. Mike Flanagan, the maestro of horror behind The Haunting of Hill House and The Fall of the House of Usher, was initially named as the screenwriter. However, the bigwigs behind the DCU weren't happy with the script he wrote and ordered a page one rewrite. Industry talk for scrap it all and start again. Mike was clearly not happy about this and decided to walk away from the project. A new writer was quickly hired, but we don't know their name yet. Still, the DCU is marching straight ahead, paying no heed to the obstacle, as filming is set to begin on October 1st. Though we haven't heard any casting announcements yet, September 11th, 2026 has been marked as a tentative release date. Only time will tell if Clayface will be ready by then. Sergeant Rock. Sergeant Franklin John Rock, created by Joe Kubert and Robert Kanigher, is a World War II soldier who will make his live-action debut in the fall of 2026. Sergeant Rock has already had a lot of bad luck in Hollywood, as the first Sergeant Rock film was announced in the early 1990s, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger in the lead role. But the movie kept changing hands, which led to changes in cast and crew. Eventually, nothing came of the script, and interest had died out by 2010. It seems like this streak of bad luck is continuing, as the new movie has currently been postponed. In 2024, it was announced that Italian director Luca Guadagnino would work with James Bond actor Daniel Craig. The choice of director seemed odd, as Guadagnino is mostly known for romantic movies like Challengers and Call Me By Your Name. But with a plot involving a French resistance fighter and a quest to find a mystical and supernatural spear of destiny, which was used to stab Jesus during his crucifixion, no one was too concerned about a genre-bending director. Soon, news broke that Craig was dropping out, but fans were consoled when they learned that Colin Farrell would take his place. A budget of $70 million was even set, with hopes for the shoot to begin in the summer. However, due to major scheduling issues, the movie has been postponed to a later date. The Batman Part 2. The first Batman movie in the new DCU was so successful that James Gunn and Peter Safran are giving full creative independence to director Matt Reeves. But even Batman is not immune to delays. Though it was originally scheduled to be released in October this year, it's been pushed back by 2 entire years. Fans will now have to wait in bated breath for Robert Pattinson to return as the Caped Crusader on October 1st, 2027. The delay was mostly due to Warner Bros. Deciding to focus on other projects. The rumor mill hasn't taken kindly to this decision, and many believe that Warner Bros. Secretly canceled the movie. News of Pattinson signing on to a role in Denis Villeneuve's Dune 3 didn't help the cancellation rumors, forcing Warner Bros. Pictures co-CEOs Pam Abdi and Mike DeLuca to address them. They calmed fans by confirming that the Batman Part 2 is still in the works, despite there not being a script yet. Fans are worried that if Reeves doesn't submit a script quickly, he might be shown the door. But we're gonna have to wait and see if Batman Part 2 will ever see the light of day. Lanterns TV series. One of the biggest disappointments in the DCEU has been the 2011 movie Green Lantern starring Ryan Reynolds, which told the story of Hal Jordan, the first human member of the intergalactic police force, the Green Lantern Corps. But with Nathan Fillion appearing in the Superman movie as Guy Gardner, there seems to be renewed hope for Green Lantern. Hal Jordan has been given a second chance in the form of Lanterns, a TV series releasing on HBO and Max. Though no date is in sight yet, if everything goes well, we should be able to stream the show by early 2026. The plot of Lanterns will focus on Hal Jordan trying to investigate a murder with John Stewart, a new recruit played by Aaron Pierre. The role of Hal Jordan was initially offered to Josh Brolin, but he turned it down, and Jordan will now be played by the charismatic Kyle Chandler. Fillion's Guy Gardner will also appear in the show. Peter Safran previously mentioned that the show will feel like True Detective, and along with the first look, we hope that this show turns out to be a superhero buddy cop story. Dynamic duo. If you're fairly new to the world of superheroes and comics, you might be confused by the title. Back in the golden days of comic books, the crime-fighting duo of Batman and Robin were known as the Dynamic Duo. But that's not the duo this movie will focus on. It will explore the origin story of two Robins, Dick Grayson and Jason Todd. Starting with their childhoods, the movie will follow their growth, their time as Robin, and the eventual divergence in the life paths of the Foster brothers. Dick becomes Nightwing, a superhero, while Jason dons a red mask to become Red Hood, the violent vigilante. Produced by Sixth and Idaho, the production company of Matt Reeves, Dynamic Duo will be written by Matthew Aldrich. Swaybox, an animation company founded by the couple Arthur Mintz and Teresa Anderson, will handle the animation for the movie. They are pioneers in puppetry, using live-action motion capture combined with stop-motion animation and CGI. Though it's part of the larger DCU, Dynamic Duo will not be connected to any of Matt Reeves' DCU projects. Directed by Arthur Mintz, Dynamic Duo is slated to release on June 30th, 2028. Batman Azteca, Choque de Imperios, Clash of Empires. Batman Azteca, Choque de Imperios, or Aztec Batman Clash of the Empires, is an animated series that will explore an original story written by Juan Meza-Leon, who will also direct the show. The protagonist, Yuhali Kotal, is a young Aztec boy who witnesses the murder of his father at the hands of Spanish invaders. Kotal grows up to take on the prestigious position of court priest under King Moctezuma II. He also develops weaponry with his fellow clerics and fights the Spanish conquistadors under the masked persona of Batman. The Aztec Batman will have to face Yoka, a version of the Joker who used to be a stern priest but lost his sanity after being forced to offer human sacrifices to his god. Huitzilopochtli. Another prominent villain in the show is Hernan Cortez, the stand-in for Two-Face, who is a Spanish conquistador with a scarred face. The show was announced at Guadalajara International Film Festival in 2022 as a collaboration between Warner Bros. Animation and Anima Studios, a Mexican animation studio. Voice actors Horatio Garcia Rojas, Omar Chaparro, and Alvaro Morte have been cast in the series, which is set to release this year on Max Latin America. The Authority. Created by Brian Hitch and Warren Ellis, The Authority is a team of superheroes that goes to extreme lengths to get the job done, disregarding any law or morality. Gunn announced it along with the whole slate of movies that are part of Gods and Monsters. But like many other projects that have faced setbacks along the way, The Authority too has been facing a lot of challenges. Gunn revealed that The Authority has been the hardest movie to conceptualize, as it's difficult to put it up against shows like The Boys. It also looks like Gunn overcommitted, as he had admitted that he had fallen in love with many of the characters they're currently working on, and they are more eager for those characters to meet than to focus on The Authority. Though there were rumors that Gerard Butler, Keira Knightley, Keke Palmer, and Riz Ahmed were going to star as Apollo, Jenny Sparks, the Engineer, and the Doctor respectively, with the villain likely being Kaizen Gamora, none of the actors or characters have been confirmed as of yet. However, you can see the Engineer in the Superman movie, so all hope is not yet lost for The Authority. Swamp Thing. James Mangold, the director behind A Complete Unknown and Logan, is set to enter the Gods and Monsters chapter of the DCU with a new standalone movie, Swamp Thing. Created by Bernie Wrightson and Lynn Wein, Swamp Thing is an important member of the Justice League Dark. The supernatural superhero was once a talented scientist known as Alex Olsen, who merged with the swamp he was studying due to a chemical disaster. Though Olsen is one of the most popular Swamp Things, the title has been held by many people well over the years, and we have yet to see who will have the privilege of being the protagonist in the live-action film. Mangold intends to explore his origins without being handcuffed by lore or burdened with the responsibility of spawning an entire franchise. You can tell Mangold's excitement about the movie as he spent over a year working on the script and personally approached Gunn and Safran to pitch the film. Nothing more is known about this project, but we'll tell you as soon as we find out. Bane Deathstroke movie. If you think Gods and Monsters will only include superheroes in its list of movies and TV shows, think again. One of the most interesting projects in the DCU is the untitled Bane and Deathstroke movie. Matthew Orton, whose imaginative brain gave us Captain America: Brave New World, has been given the task of coming up with a script. Bane, created by Chuck Dixon and Graham Nolan, is an international criminal with impressive intellect and unbeatable brawn, whose strength comes from the super serum Venom. The most popular portrayal of Bane is by Tom Hardy in The Dark Knight Rises, opposite Christian Bale's Batman. Meanwhile, Slade Wilson, or Deathstroke the Terminator, is an ex-operative of the US Army who became a mercenary after taking the super soldier serum. He also inspired Deadpool from the Marvel Universe. Now that the fate of these two characters in the DCU rests inside the pen of Orton, we hope he will rise to the task. Teen Titans movie. Ana Nogueira, who's contributing to the script of Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, has been given the task of penning a script for a Teen Titans movie. While no confirmation has been given regarding the release date, as the movie is still in its fetal stage, fans can't help but be excited about finally getting to see the Teen Titans on the big screen. Although there have been rumors that we'll get to see the same cartoon lineup of Cyborg, Robin, Wonder Girl, Beast Boy, and Starfire in live action, no official confirmation has been released yet. Constantine II. Based on the Hellblazer comics, John Constantine first graced Hollywood in 2005 and was played by Keanu Reeves. Though the movie garnered good box office profits and a cult following, no sequel was announced immediately. But that's about to change, as director Francis Lawrence and Reeves have joined forces to bring us Constantine II. The only thing Reeves told the press is that it will follow the first movie and be set in the same world. However, Constantine will most likely not be a part of the Gods and Monsters chapter of the DCU and will exist in a parallel storyline. When we find out more about the movie, you'll be the first to know. Marvelous verdict. The first chapter of Gunn and Safran's universe sure does look exciting. Which one of these movies and TV shows are you most excited about? Personally, we can't wait to see Keanu Reeves as the cynical exorcist once again. Let us know your picks in the comments, and like and share to support us if you enjoyed the video. We'll be back with more exciting updates. Until then, take care. Goodbye.